What is up, guys? I am Howie, and this is the Go Ride channel, where I strive and often fail to publish 2 videos every week about motorcycle topics of every flavor. In today's episode, we are going to be working on the Ducati again, and the goal for today is just to install a new temperature sensor, coolant temperature sensor, a new thermostat, and get water back in the bike, and then possibly, depending on how things go, maybe even plug into diagnostics to see if we can see what's going on. So let's get started. We're at the point now where I've got the coolant manifold out, and I need to remove this cover for the thermostat housing. It looks like somebody used ultra gray on it. Given the condition of the hoses, all the buildup here, kind of all of that stuff, I think I am going to pause after I get this reassembled and put like silicone hoses on the bike if they're available. All right, so when you were gone, I went ahead and tried to clean everything up as well as possible, just with a little bit of emery cloth, nice and smooth, got all the old sealant and stuff off, cleaned that up, cleaned up where the O-rings sit, so cleaned up the sealing flange, so we should be good to go there. I'm going to go ahead and put the new O-rings in around here with a little bit of lithium grease, which is what's recommended by Ducati. So just a really light film of lithium grease on the O-rings to get them to seat better. So the thermostat has like a little guide pin on it, and there's like a little hole in the recess there, and that pin should slide into that hole. And then the thermostat will sit centered in there like that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the thermostat for the manifold cap. I'm going to use just a small amount of the Right Stuff gray, which gives me only a little bit of time to reassemble the parts. All I really need is a thin film on the housing. So that should be plenty. And then I need to make sure that I get this assembled within 5 minutes. Torque spec on these is fairly low, about 10 Newton meters. So that should be more than enough. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the extra sealant. From the manual, it's not immediately evident that you need a sealant, and it shouldn't actually require one, but it does mention assembling within 5 minutes prior to sealant cure, so I'm assuming that means it needs one. Next, I'm going to go ahead and refit the coolant temperature sensor. which calls for like a Loctite 510 in the manual, but in the States, we can't really get that. So the local Ducati dealer, their recommendation is just a high temperature thread sealant. So I have this Permatex product. And this Permatex product, for what it's worth, is just a liquid PTFE. This part gets torqued to about 23 Newton meters, which is about 17 pound-feet. And Ducati, I'm going to call you out a little bit on that. That's a terrible design, the way you have that sitting in there for getting a socket on it. The next step is going to be to refit the assembled coolant manifold back onto the duct. I'm going to go ahead and actually remove the remaining coolant hoses just to get them out of my way, and then clean up the O-ring. So let's go for that. So since I've successfully gotten coolant all over my garage floor, I'm going to continue with the theme. I'm going to lay out some P-pads for the bike. I went through and ordered, there is a silicone hose kit for the 749S. And I know there's several different varieties of cooling system, but I went through the parts manual for both the 749 and the 749S. Now the 749 is identical, as far as I know, to the 749 Dark. The Dark is just refers to the, you know, the cheapest color combination you can get. And all the part numbers crossed. So I'm assuming that those hoses will work on this bike. Holy smokes. I am just like one bloodbath after another. So I just lubed that O-ring back up, and that fitting did not have sealant on it. So I'm going to go ahead and refit it without it, and I guess if it leaks, then shame on me. Each of the fasteners, each of the 3 fasteners for the coolant manifold gets torqued to 30 Newton meters. No. Well, I just snapped the damn bolt off in there. All right, so whenever you're working on anything, that's about the worst frickin' thing that can happen to you. So, no idea why that ended up happening, because we were going right to the proper torque spec, but let me see what I can do to get it out. It looks like I might be able to grab enough of this nub with vice grips to remove it. All right. Small miracles. I think that's going to end the vlog for today. Obviously, I need to get another one of those specialty fasteners. I got to figure out why that torque spec caused me to snap that bolt off, because it wasn't very high, and that's about all we got. So our original goal for the day was to get coolant back in the Ducati. That didn't happen. I spent another $150 on the internet getting silicone fuel hoses. I'm hoping, I don't even know if those parts are going to work for this bike, because this is a 749 Dark, and that is for the 749S. The parts that I ordered, however, if you go through the parts catalog for either one, they all carry the same part number, so fingers crossed. Hopefully you'll find that out next week. Yeah, so the Ducati saga continues, always crashed or broken. I'm going to try to run to the grocery store tonight so I can feed myself. With that, guys, get out there, go ride. Hopefully you don't have a broken bike like this, and if I see you out there, I'll wave.
Yeah!